What is going on, everybody? Luke here. In today's video we're going to be talking about how to squeeze out extra profits in December for Q4 based on BuyBotPro. Well, looking at specific pieces of data on BuyBotPro mixed with stuff like sales rank, keeper, and of course sales. So I picked a random example here of a product. I don't sell this, never have, nothing like that. I just wanted to give something that was going popular this time of year. So what I've done is I've just whacked in a random number. We're not worried about profits or anything like that. We're looking at the data here. So let's imagine if I was selling this product at potentially $11.99. Let's say I was making £1.50 profit, and you were like, you know what, the rank of this is in grocery, I believe, say, I can't see why it wouldn't be. And we're looking at like a 3,000 rank here. Yeah, really nice. Yes, the price has gone up, but we're going to ignore the price for this very second. It's a fast seller. Okay, now we don't know exactly what it sells because we maybe haven't sold a lot at the buy box or something, or maybe we're new to selling this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you can kind of see what I mean. Basically, it's going to be a real good seller this time. So let's say that this is selling well. Let's say I have 50 in stock, 100 in stock. You have a choice, you know. Obviously, you can, if you've got plenty of supply, like stock-wise, then you could just look to sell volume, but like at £1 to £1.50 profit, and just try to capture all of those sales and sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But when you come to this time of year in December, and as you push into the middle of December, obviously it's not as easy to replenish because you've got to buy the stock, get it to a prep center potentially, or get it to your house, prep it, and send it into Amazon, which is an unknown amount of time to get there before booking in. So at some point, it will almost be not possible to get new stock. And so at that point, or just before that point, it's good to identify the products where you have some stock, but not crazy amount of stock to supply the last 10 days or week. Of course, you can go ahead and try to send stock in. Not saying you can't do that, but we're just going to say that, you know, you think this is not enough time, so you've got to work with what you got. And let's say that you've been selling this all December at that £1, £1.50 profit, and now you have 50 left in stock. And then you come to this and you're like, right, you know what? I'll sell that 50 in a day or 2 days, but there's a whole week left of Q4. Is there any way to maximize a bit more profit out of this? And you can go ahead and do this on all of your listings where your stock has started to come down, you're not going to restock, and now you want to potentially squeeze that extra profits on the products the listings you can. So what I would go ahead and do is I would obviously punch in some data here, and I would go ahead straight away and look over on here. And what you want to do is that potentially you've sold this product a little bit already, and you have some sales data to check. You can look at the, what's the most you've done in a day, what's the most you've done, what's the average per week, and you can get a bit of a picture of like, okay, how many can I sell in a day potentially? Again, you're not going to be exact because times, as we creep towards Christmas, demand could go up, people are buying more because it's getting closer to Christmas, various things like that. Or even stuff like, what's the number of sellers, what was the buy box competition like? Obviously slightly unknown. You can go ahead and obviously look here and go, is it roughly the same position as it was back here? Is this the number of sellers dropping off, and say that potentially means you're going to get a little bit higher over the buy box. All those things come into play. But what you want to do is, let's say you think it's going to sell 40 a day. Yeah, you would just look at here and roughly go, okay, 40 a day, that's within 3 days. We could be up here. You just add them together, and then you go, okay, even if you don't want to do that, you're happy for something like this. And you can obviously play it by ear. So what you could even do is just take a picture, screenshot, come back at the same time tomorrow, have a quick look and go, what is the current situation? Because what I would do on that last 50 is I'd potentially raise the price to something like $14.99, and then I would take a picture or memorize this, write it down, 80. Just jot down what that is. Come back to it tomorrow. Yes, people could restock this. That's not saying they couldn't, but obviously as we push into closer to Christmas, it's less likely people are going to be restocking. Definitely with large quantities. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but it's more likely. And then you can go ahead and build up a picture of where the price would fit, and you can go ahead and obviously look at all the sellers. And I would always say never go too crazy on the price, because you could be waiting and waiting and waiting for that price, and the longer you're having to wait, the more unknown things can happen, like new sellers jumping in, people stocking up, whatever. Like maybe you can't even sell the rest of your stock because you wait too long. So I'd say never to be too greedy. But for example, in this situation, there's no reason why you couldn't go ahead and sell it at like $15.99, or even over here $16.99. But waiting and waiting for like the oak to be the only seller, you can do if you know what you're doing. Or you notice way in advance, so you've got plenty of time to be the only seller. But don't wait until like the 20th to kind of try to sell everything. And you can go ahead and here and squeeze out an extra couple of quid because you've identified that this sells, 30 to 40 a day. Even if you just go for a really light estimate of 20, within 5 days, people are sold out. Obviously, people could restock a bit, so fair enough. But we're on, at the moment, the 3rd of the 12th as of today's video, so let's give it a week. Come back and review it. But if you're on like the 15th, you could wait until the 19th, the 18th, and just see, with my calculations, when will I get the buy box? And if you find it's getting too close to Christmas, of course you can go and start selling it at whatever the current buy box price is, because you feel like, you know, enough's enough, no more waiting. But that should now be a higher buy box than what it would be now, because people are not restocking as much as they're selling. And definitely that works well on high volume turnover products, as people don't want to be restocking 1,000 units on the 15th of December or the 20th of December. And so you're able to, you know, you only need to capture half a day's sales to do 200 sales of that unit. So you're able to wait longer if it's a very, very crazy good ranking, like 500 ranking in grocery, 300, 200, 100, obviously, so on. And that's what I'll be doing across the board with my stock and that also plays a part with if the product goes out of stock early, like now, beginning of December, and you don't see it coming back in stock, it gives me a clue that within about a week, the number of sellers should start to disappear and the buy box should increase earlier than expected, because people can't restock right now. Otherwise, they probably would, because it's still early in December. And I'll be doing it across a broad spectrum of products that I'm selling. If I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, I have a choice. I can carry on selling it at the buy box with some profit just to get some sales under my belt. Maybe at 200 units, I'll analyze the rank, the expected sales, but obviously you don't want to be left with tons and have more pressure on you to sell. And that is what I'll do. And the closer through December we get, as you push through, the more focused I'll be on identifying those products where I can be raising that price. Because if you can sell your last 100 for an extra £1 or £2 profit, that's £200-300 profit. Do that against 10 ASINs, could be 2 or 3 grand by doing, you know, all you're doing is you're still selling the same stock, you're not sending any more in, and all you're doing is tweaking prices because you identified you're able to squeeze a little bit more out by letting everyone else sell out first. And so I think that's probably when people sort of ease off the pedal with buying stock. That is the natural transition to where the focus should be lying for the remainder. And, you know, if you can get lucky and you can be making an extra £5 on some items, slightly more higher priced products, then you've got 100 of those, you know, 200 of those, you're in the money. And definitely as the rank is better, like 100, 200, and you're able to do that strategy with more stock. So you don't have to be so pressured to sell it, you know, to sell down to 50 or 100. You could have 400, be like, you know, well, that sells in a day. So I'm going to do that now because I identified that the supply of stock has dried up early. Perfect. 400 sells quick anyway. And if I need to, for whatever reason, go back to the buy box it is today, it will sell fast anyway because it's a really good ranked product anyway. So the pressure isn't on to, you know, the pressure isn't so much on the issue as the issue would be like, oh, I've had 2 weeks and not selling. Crap, I've got all this stuff I need to sell. But because it sells so much, you wouldn't have an issue. And if you're not going to restock that product anyway, it doesn't matter if you sell it now or in 2 weeks. But it gives you the option to potentially sell it for a higher price by waiting. So hopefully that helped people. I'm going to leave the video there, everyone. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see everybody on the next video.